I'm going to get straight back into it. No long extended intro. You know what's going on. Amplifiers going in, subs going in. But first, a little bit more of the sound deadening, a little bit more rolling, a little bit more cutting. Let's get it started. I'm just trying to choose some spots from examples I've seen where effectively where you can hear all the tinniness. So I can't say it's an exact science, but there's a little bit of science if you look hard enough. What is it YouTube says? A few hours later? Not quite finished yet, but as you can see, there's been some progress. But next, I want to try and remove this little amplifier in the back corner. So I've got my little screwdriver for getting these connectors out, 1 and 2, and then we have these, which I must admit I cheated on. They're just 10 mils. I started those off. I'm thinking of putting the amplifier in the same place, so I'm just gonna put some more sound deadening underneath, and then I'll work out if it's going to fit. But getting there on this little audio journey. Oh. Is there one more? No. Oh yes, there is. One more. Go from the other side on that one. It's just down here. That's the one. And then they've just put the clips on there on the bottom of the bracket. So just pinch them together as usual, and hopefully that will come out. It will, honest. There we go. One removed amplifier. And then I'll see if I can find something to work on those brackets and make sure that I get these cables strapped up out the way so that they don't rattle either. And I think for now that's where I'm going to stop. I've added a little bit down here, put some in the wheel arches as well on both sides. Wrapped over that part there, under where the cables come out, and as you saw before, all the stuff in the back. Just show you the different angle from the rear. So it's by no means perfect, but it's not quite as tinny as it was. And then obviously there's all the foam to go back in as well. I've now just got to figure out how to mount this amplifier. But what I might do first is tackle that monstrosity up there. On the underside of the boot lid, you can see this cable going up there. That's the one you've got to disconnect from this side, and then everything else takes place in there. I don't know why I don't do these in advance, but there we go. So you can see the struggle, I guess. So yeah, that one, and then that will go up in that hole there. Now, with that one disconnected here, you can see it just hanging down. Next thing you got to do is try and pull this thing towards you. So pop it like that. There we go. And hopefully, there we are. Comes out in one piece. And there's our brake light. So what we need to do next is take out these 4 clips just here. There we are. And then I think this bit comes out. Those just pop off. Ah, it's sitting under the C-pillars, of course it is. But I might just have enough removed just to be able to pull it out. Might not. Don't need to remove that bolt. And the next thing to do is to just slide your hand under here and pull up. I can see one is there. There's a pop clip. There's one. God, they're hard to move. And then there's another one just about here. There we go. Let's go back to this one before, because that, there we go. Right, and then as you can see, as I've moved along to the outside, it's released itself like that, and then we take it to the bench. Now the next stage is getting a bit disruptive and destructive. We've got to drill out 5 plastic rivets. So there's one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. So it's just a case of I think I might need a bigger drill bit. Oh no, might be alright. No, that's an 8, I'm going to grab a 10. that side's off. That side's off. And then we got three up here. So one just behind this little foam piece, just there. One here. And last one just here. And then this bit should, you heard me say it, right? Just pull off. Oh, there we go. So that's off. Don't need that bit anymore. I'll clean this up and then I'll show you the next step. The kit that I'm using is, I found it on Facebook a long time ago. As you can probably tell, because most of my stuff's been in storage forever. But it's by a company called SKR Online. Got the link there, but I'll put it in the description below anyway. And it's a really comprehensive kit, actually. Now the next stage, I'll clean that up after, is this is what we're left with on the top. Now, this area still gets reused, but these aren't used anymore. But then what is put in the kit, very helpfully actually, is in each separate bag you get the next part for the kit. So here we've got two little push clips. Now we won't be using these holes anymore, so you can just drop those in like that. But if, like mine, they're a bit loose, just flip it over, and there's been supplied these little metal washers. So you can just push those down from the inside all the way to the bottom. I'll do that properly in a second. And then that just holds everything in place. So they're not going to fall out or rattle or whatever. But obviously, dependent on the size of the hole, is dependent how much you need these. What I'm going to do is just grab a spanner, and then as I push from behind, I'm just going to push down on that just to make sure that the washer is seated. And then, as you can see, they don't move anymore. So that's that part done. You can just see these here. Then what I've done next, you can use a knife or what's the word, pair of cutters, but I haven't got any that will fit around it. So I'm just using this little saw just to take a bit of the height off, just to make it so it all sits flush when it goes back together. Like that. And then we move this out the way and we focus on the plate. Now on to the second part. These are the connections we got to, the fixings we got to use, and this is the little panel here. So first things first, you drop the square-headed bolts, which are supplied with the kit, into the square holes like that. And in the suggestion, you make a very good hold on this here. So these two aren't too bad, but you don't want to lose this other one into the frame of the light holder once it's actually all together. So let's try that again. There there we go. Oh, that one's in. No, it's not. Okay, there we go. Right, so first thing you want to do is try and push this forward underneath this. That's what you didn't want to happen. What I'm going to do, because I'm not having much luck with this, is I'm just going to lightly thread on this bolt head. I'll have to take it off in a minute, but it stops it from falling in. Same with this one. And this one. What's the other nut? There. Because then at least we know they're not going further than that. Okay, there we go. Right, so first things first, you could probably see these little grooves, and what you want to try and do is line them up with these little plastic bits just here, and you want to try and make sure it's underneath those at the side, and as you push forward it should start to grip those there, and you want to try and force it under the plastic rim all the way around. Oh, the screw is my friend again. There we go. Right. So yeah, just work it round, pushing it under. You might want to use a screwdriver just to push those home. There we go. And then, as you can see, that just grabs in like that, all around on the plastic. Then the next step is to try and fold these little metal tabs downwards. Just to grip so that it doesn't move anywhere. I'm not sure they're far enough in. Hang on. Let's see if I can push these any further. Oh yeah, got a little bit more there and a little more there. Ah, there we go. Right, let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. Let's move that one. Same with this one. There we go. And then that just stops it from sliding back out again. Yeah, that's nice and solid now. Oh good, my nut has fallen. Excellent. You could really do with an extra pair of hands on this job, to be honest, but I don't have one, so I just have to make do with what I do have. Me. That's better. That's not. Oh, it didn't go under the plastic either. Oh, good. I'll leave you a link to a proper video of a man doing this job properly, and I'll just make it work now. And that is pushed in all round. Tabs are pushed down. These are quite nicely seated, and as you can see, it's quite flush all the way around. So if we undo these ones now, and we bring back the what do we call it? Parcel shelf. That's what we usually call it. I mean, I don't know what parcels you'd ever fit on it, but as you can see there, we've got our 3 fixings and our 3 bolts. So if you feed the cable through first, this may even fit with the bolt in there, I'm not sure. And then flip it over. No, I'm gonna have to take that one off. Where's my? It was a 10mm socket I used on this, just to make life a bit easier. Hopefully gravity will be my friend here, fingers crossed. So we'll drop this through like that, pull the cable through so you can see they're just suspended. I'm going to grab the bolt, the bolt, I was right the first time, on the other side, and I'm going to make a start with that one because you know it's going to want to fall the second I let it go. So if I just turn this round so you get a better view. Ah, there we go, it dropped. It's okay, got it back. You can see what profile it's going to be like now, so it's a lot thinner, a lot less room to rattle. So I've got here just a pair of cutters which I'm going to use just to hold that while I put the washer and then ultimately the nut on the top, so it can't go anywhere. Flick my little 1/4 inch to on. Hopefully, yeah, that's started. Did I let that go too quick? No, that's feeling nice and tight. Okay, that's that one. Don't know how well you can see any of that, but there you go, that's that one done. And then just repeat the same again. Put the washer on there, like that. And put the nuts on there and do those 2 up as well. Thanks to the square captive coach bolts, I think they're called, that the kit includes, it makes it quite easy that they don't move around very much. That feels nice and tight. And then the last one, let's get this one started. And just check this one. There we go, and then quite a lot lower profile than that. So you can see how much height we've lost off it. But I'll just clean this up and then I'll get it back in the car and show you how it fits. Right, wish me luck. But yeah, that's all done now. So first things first. slide the cable back down the hole, which is just up here. There we go. You see that hanging down just underneath. And then we've got to try and bend it back underneath the two sides of the C-pillar. But it does have a lot of bend, so it shouldn't be too troublesome. There we go, that's one side. And then lean over this side. Oh, no one likes to see that. Oh. Okay, it's not too bad. There we go, just there. Right, so bend that under there like that. And then hopefully we should be able to start pushing it back down. Just make sure it's under this C-pillar both sides. There we go. Right, and yeah. And then there was some around here. And then we just put our 4 clips back in. I just want to make sure this is actually tight before I do that. Oops, don't pull that off. There we go. And then I just got to pull that back over into there like that. That popped nicely into place. Pop our 4 little containers back in. Retainers even, not containers. Dumbass. There we go. That's the one I was missing. Like that. And one there. And then that is fitted in. And then just these little over the top seat belt things go on top. And that's that job done. And as you can see, there's a fair more gap between the light and the window now, so any vibration shouldn't be an issue. So here are the original fixing points. There's one down there, there's one there, there was one here. As you can see on this one, you've got the one on this side, one on the top, that one in the middle is the bracket that held the clip, and that one at the bottom, and it just sat there like that. So I've made a more crude example. So it does the same stuff, it will sit there like that. I've put a little bit more sound deadening under it, and I've even made a little point for that to sit in. So what I'm going to do next is just scrub this up, hit it with some wheel silver, and then get that fixed in, and then I can get the amplifier in. And I've already snuck the subwoofer in just there. So let me show you from the other side. Here's my expensive spray boot. So it's just going to look like that. So what I've done is chop away at the underneath to make it flat, and then I've put, probably can't see it that well from that angle, a block there so it sits on it, and then on the underside it's just got double-sided tape. So hopefully it won't blow the doors off and it won't move around too much, but that just fits in there like that. I've cut some away so I can get all the cables in, and a little bit off that corner just there like that. So when that all sits in, hopefully it should look quite neat. But let me scuff this up and get it sprayed. Bit of an update. So there's your plate, mostly painted, just drying out. But while that was doing that, I have, hopefully the light's not too blinding there, run the black cables, which are the ones that go to the amp. So I've put them under the same patch of carpet there, and then they go under here, up there, along there, and you can probably see them just coming out at the back just here. So you got one on this side, which is for this side of the car, and that side is also done, runs along this side, comes out the top just there, and then that is sitting on that side just to make my life easier. I have got my yellow power cable here along with the red one, which runs back to this side of the sub. You can probably see that little incision I've made just about here. Yeah, there we go. And then the connections on the right hand side there are just for the blue phono cables there. So if I just pull that amp out, sub and amp out towards the back, and then I'll just show you how I wire it up before I put it back into position. Got it to this stage now. I pulled it back out just so I could get some space to run the cables. Left a bit excess so they can sit underneath. But you've got your 12 volt, which is the one that goes all the way to the battery. You've got your remote cable, which I've piggybacked off this other remote cable so that it can do, the trigger can go to both the amp and the sub. And then you've got your ground, which is just here. And what I've done with those is this one's here on this connection for the kids seats. Took it out, put the cable behind it on a ring. That's the one for your amp. And then this side is the one for the sub. And then they run through that little black hole just there. And then I have the two connections. This one is for the amp, and this crinkly one is for the sub. So I'll just get that pushed back in the back, in the bay, plug those two in on the front, and then we should be in a position roughly where we can start on the amp. And that's my panel, quite solid there, just that I'm gonna stick the amp to. That's where I've connected that up. Just gonna neaten those up, tie them up a bit. And then there's your connections going into the sub. So it's just the amp left with all this lot. Quite a few weeks later, but I've done it. The amp is in. I'll go around the other side so you can see all the connections. I've just Velcroed it to that because there's not much weight to it and it's not going to vibrate too much. Oh, let me get out. So you can probably see around this side. These are your cables that went to these black and white ones here, left and right channel, that went into the footwell for the crossovers. Obviously these RCAs are the ones that go back to the head unit. There is the remote wire that's spliced with the other one, and then you've got your black earth, which, as I showed, goes just down there onto a bolt, and your red live that goes all the way to the battery. Put a bit more sound deadening in, but I've tried it all and it does work. I must admit, I have delayed doing this video because it was an absolute nightmare. Where have I put the keys now? But I was having a bit of a drama because this speaker wasn't working and that sub was doing nothing as well. Keys. Bear with me. Shut that. stop the beeping. So everything's connected, only one thing doesn't work now, which is this USB-C adapter in here. If I plug the cable straight into this, which is the adapter it gives you, like if I plug it straight into here, it works fine. So there's an issue between this part and this part. So I might need to get a new one of those. But let me just show you the sound difference now, and that's before I put everything back. So it might be a bit more rattly. 1 second. So this is everything connected now. Having to do it on the normally fixed camera, so sorry if the picture's not great. That one's working. Obviously the amp's fired up. Definitely doing its job. I just got to get it all back together now and be a car again. Update 1. So I've got this fitted in. Had to do a little bit more surgery on it just to make the wires run where they needed to, but that is as the factory intended, minus a few bits of foam. Next job is get the side panels on. That's one side popped back in, so it just fits under the rubber seal around the door there, and then there's clips all along the top, all down the sides, and then there's one plastic trim clip there, and there's 2 that go with the carpet there. So let's do the same the other side. It's tidying up in here a bit. So look, we've got the back ones on, front swabs, back swabs are in. Starting to clear out in here. I think what I'll do next, to give myself a bit of free movement, is put these in. And then those little trim pieces are going to go last after the seats. So I'm going to put boot stuff, seats, door panels, carpets. I'm going to leave the stereo out for the moment so I can hopefully sort out that USB connector. But yeah, on with the mat and the boot. Boot floor mat all installed again, nice. And the back's looking like a real car. Maybe not so much the front. Got all the dashboard panels to go back. Got the kick panels, door panels, seats, mats. Starting to get a bit of the garage back though. Cracking on. Like I said before, I really don't trust these. I don't like that sort of star pattern connection. They're already starting to be worn, you can see. So I found out that the later 2017 Plus just used your standard hex bolts. So I've ordered up 8 of those. Here's the code, SU003-07863, and they just fit in your normal socket, which is 12mm, and then they fit in just like the previous ones did. Same bolt patterns, same look of the nut, you can see, without that terrible head on them. So let me get those in, and then I'll have a bit more room in the garage. Passenger seat in, well, the front 2 anyway. So yeah, bolts just fit in there, connected the 2 connectors underneath, but I did, you probably can't see it, I had to move the crossover from this side to this side, just because that's where the slide mechanism went. So it's sitting about here now. So when you pull the seat forward, no interference from that. And then, if you can see, on the backs, they fall straight in there as well. Get your socket and do them up. It's always a pain in the back because you got seat swab, you got seat belt, you got seat, everything wants to be in the way. Especially in the middle, because then you've got the added fun of the centre console. Fun times. But you get the idea. Get these in, then onto the door cards. So pretty much done on the passenger side. Glove box is back in, mats are in, seat is in, everything in the back we know is in. I'm leaving these off for the time being till I've sorted that stereo thing out. But let's crack on with the driver's side. So seats in, bolted. Got the mats in as well. Side panel in, underside of the dash is back in. Door card. And then that for now is it, I think. Oh, and the kick panel, but I can do that now. Wherever I left it. Oh, it's over there. Oh, let's grab this. I think this car's earned a well-deserved clean after all this. So, spin that round. Line that up with that. Push down. There we are. Just the door card now. Yay. Here's before. All back together now. Playing. I set this, obviously not back together in this, but once I sort that USB out, it should be good. Got some bass in here again. It's nice. Everything's working. All the speakers. Phew. Well, that's it. Didn't know if I'd get there. Assumed it would blow up. A few little niggles along the way, but what can I say? I'm happy. It's done. Yes, it's not going to be the most powerful system ever, but it's what I wanted it to be. And I obviously moved down the third brake light at the back. Happy days. So I think everything's ready now. I've obviously got lots of other bits to do once it's road legal, once I can drive it, because I want to see what it's like before I start throwing parts at it. I've done the bits that I wanted to get done, bits that would have taken it off the road, so happy. That doesn't mean I'm not making any more videos till March. Just means I've got to figure out what's next. But thank you for coming on the journey with me. Thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking with me till this far. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for the lots of questions I've had recently. Appreciate those. But yeah, like, thank you, subscribe, all that business. Appreciate your eyes, appreciate your ears. Done. Take care.